Hello, my name is Patrick.
And I'm Daniel, and we're double checking
Expected values. So, the top two reasons for double checking expected values are security and consistency. Security in that nobody can come in and plant weird values that you don't want, or even SQL injections, backdoors to the database and stuff. And consistency in that we get the values that we want every time. That being the users and also the database.
Alright, so here we have two examples where we have the user give us input. We have the option where they can enter their lady, or whether they're male, female, or other. And the first setup we have here is we ask the user to input their information. In this case, though, this is not as secure and is not as consistent as how Patrick was saying. Here, our database is going to store whatever they input. They're going to store whatever it is. They can see this one is stored. Well, what is it? They just put submit form. And the more secure way would be to limit their input and just tell them you only have these three options, and that's it. And here we have a switch case statement that even after they select these three options, it's going to clarify and just make sure that it is something we have valid in our database. And as you can see here, it only can return male, female, and other. And over here, you can type whatever you want, and it's going to store it.
So this right here is showing a less secure way of posting the value. So you can either have the user's gender is right there and post the gender, or the more secure way is switch case statement right there. So the only person we have, the only author we have in our database is George R.R. Martin, and that's really the only author you can query. So in the case that somebody queries another author, we echo a warning statement that says invalid input value specified, and that's just so we only need somebody to query that author, and nobody's allowed to query any other author.
So here, like Patrick was saying, the less secure way is just to post the whatever the user input in that search field, and the more secure way would take that input and either parse it out and see and make sure it matches our case, or parse out the value of the button, which we know is always going to be something we expect, and that's going to get us into our database, which we created for the Bookorama. And in that database, I created a table called book with 3 ISBN numbers, an author, and 3 different titles, and as well as their price. I sorted out this database by ISBN and having it be the primary key. Of course, the authors or whatever we input in the title. Let's take a look at how we're going to handle that and double check these values. Here we have the first example where we can have the user select the author, title, or ISBN number via radio button. That way we can at least get a search type in. And then what we're going to handle with a search term is we're going to check for values entered in the search term and have it parse out and make sure it's something in our database. As you can see in the first setup, we selected the title, the Clash of Kings as a search term, and our database is going to go through its code and pull out a matching title for what the user input. We get the price, we get the ISBN number, and the total number of books we found. Okay, right here, we also queried out the ISBN number to where they can only input numeric values. So if the user were to select ISBN number with radio button or drop down, the user can try to input alphabetical or alphabet characters or any other character that's not a number, and our queries and our PHP code is going to make sure and validate that it is a valid input. If it is, it'll continue and find the matching book with the ISBN number, and if it's not, it's going to return and tell the user, hey, you didn't enter a numeric character for the ISBN. Here we have an example of our PHP code for the results page in our database or in our website. We're gonna bring in the search type and the search term. That's gonna go through a whitelist. This whitelist is just gonna double check and make sure that the only thing they can input was title, author, and ISBN. And then it's gonna log into our database with those information and start querying out the information we want. Here we have our query at the top section. What I did is I changed the search type is going to come in, and instead of it equaling the search term, we're going to do like the search term that we're bringing in, and what it's going to do is if we were to put equal, it has to be an exact match in our database. But if you put like, and for example, our user doesn't have to remember the entire title of the book, they can just remember portion, and our database, our query is going to go through our database and match something similar to it. That way, if someone decides to put a injection in there, all it's going to do is it's going to go through a query and try to match that line of code they entered, and it's just going to return, hey, I don't match a book for that title, and it's going to prevent us from being hacked into.
Yeah, so this is an example of knowing what we're going to expect with the values that get queried. See right here, somebody could connect to our server and have a script something like this, where normally if they were not malicious, they would have the author at the bottom right here, George R.R. Martin, and that'd be fine. But in the case that somebody would be malicious and come in and put something like this, author equals delete asterisk, an SQL injection such as this, it could cause a lot of problems for us. So we really need to make sure that we know what we're going to expect and double check that.
Well, thank you. Hope you guys understand the importance of double checking the values that users are going to input, preventing any further problems in the future.
Thank you, and I hope you have a good day.